Good evening to everyone. Welcome to Raj Technologies. The course what we are going to learn over here is C language, and this course totally goes for 3 weeks. The 15 days for us. And today we are going to see about computer fundamentals and introduction to C language. Day 2 we are going to discuss about C basics, and even we are going to see structure of a C program. Day 3 we go with C basics continuation, where we discuss about comments, keywords, variables and data types. Day 4 we go with download and install developer C++ IDE. In our course I am going to show the programs using developer C++ IDE, and even we are going to learn the standard output function printf function. It is mainly used to display messages or value of variables on screen. Day 5 we discuss scanf function, which we call standard input function, which is used to read values from keyboard. And we'll see some example programs using printf and scanf. Day 6 we discuss about operators like arithmetic operators, relational operators, logical operators, like that. And these days are very important as a beginner. If you are totally new to programming, and if you are entering into an engineering college as first year, B.Tech first year, then this is the place where we increase our programming and logical skills. So day 7 we start with control statements, where we go with if statement. Day 8 we continue with control statements, which statement. Day 9 we start with loops, where we discuss while loop and do while loop. And day 10 loops will continue with for loop, and even we discuss break and continue. And day 11 and day 12 we go with arrays. Arrays are mainly used to collect the elements. Day 13 and 14 very important topic, functions, and day 15 strings. So these are the topics what we are going to discuss under this free course. And already you are having the link, meeting link to join these classes. And let us start off with the day 1, where we are going to discuss about computer fundamentals. So before we start with this, let us understand the definition of a computer. Definition of a computer. How to define a computer is like, a computer is an electronic device which takes input, process the given input, and provides output to the user. And provides what? Output to the user. Like example, if you consider input, what are the input we are accepting? We are going to process that given input. We are going to process the input and we are going to provide output. Like an example, we are accepting two numbers like x equal to 10, y equal to 20. So these two numbers we are accepting from user. Now the process what we want to do is, we want to find the sum of these two numbers. So we'll write here process as sum equal to x plus y. We are adding the two numbers. So these calculations only we call it as what? Process. And what I should print? After adding these two numbers, what is the sum value we are getting? 30. That 30 I should display on screen. So we have to print that sum value. So this printing sum value is what we get here in our example 30. So whatever you display onto the screen to the end user, that we call it as output. The input what we accept from user to process our data, that we call input. So these three terms are very important when you are writing the program. When you are writing the program, the three terms are input, process and output. Now the next term is program. As we are going to start writing the programs, we should know what is a program is. How to define a program is like, a program is a set of instructions given to a computer to perform a task. In order to perform a task, we have to give some set of instructions to the computer. What is the meaning of task? Like example, finding sum of two numbers, finding total marks of a student, finding average marks of a student, finding net salary of an employee, adding a book into the library, booking a flight ticket. These all things we call them as task. To perform that, we have to give some set of instructions. That set of instructions only we call it as program. Now, we are having the next definition, software. How to define a software is like, a software is a collection of related programs. What makes a software? It's a collection of related programs. Even one program also you can consider like a software. In order to develop a big software like e-commerce or email management, library management, banking application, insurance application, so we need to write so many programs. That set of related programs, we call it as software. This software is divided into two types of softwares. We are having two types of softwares. Yeah. Can anyone respond? Are you able to hear me? Anyone through message? One second. Are you able to hear me now? Okay, right. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for confirming. Let me check once again. Yeah, it's working. So just let me recap. We started with the computer fundamentals. So the meaning of computer is like it's an electronic device which takes input, process the given input and provides output to the user. Right? So we started with the content like the codes what we are going to learn. I'm repeating the people who have joined just now. So the codes what we are going to learn here is it's a C language course and I've divided these codes into 15 days for us. So where we discuss about computer fundamentals and C introduction, C basics, and we'll learn about structure of C program. And we go with C basics like the meaning of comments, keywords, variables, and data types. We go with download and install developer C++ IDE, and we'll be learning standard output function printf. Day 5, we go with scanf, standard input function to read input from user. We discuss about operators. We go with control statements like if statement, then switch statement, and we go with loops like while loop, do while loop, for loop, and arrays, functions, and strings. So these are the topics what we'll be learning in this course, and this is the meeting link to join this course. And this total duration goes for 15 sessions. That is, the classes will be Monday to Friday. The classes will be Monday to Friday, and the class will go for 45 minutes daily. Okay, so it will be at 4 p.m. to 4:45 p.m. IST. So that class will go for maximum 45 minutes. Right? Then, so in order to enter into any programming language, we should have some basic idea on programming, like the terminologies of computer fundamentals. Like initially we started with computer. The meaning of computer is like it's an electronic device which takes input, processes the given input and provides output to the user. And provides what? Output to the user. Like example, we go with input like we take x equal to 10 and y equal to 20. And what we want to do, we want to process it. Sum equal to x plus y. So it's going to add the two numbers. And finally, we are going to display the output. So this accepting input, process the input and providing the output. These three terms are very, very important as a beginner. Then the next definition is program. The meaning of program is like it's a set of instructions given to a computer to perform a task. So what is the meaning of task? Like example, finding sum of two numbers, finding total and average marks of a student, transferring funds from one account to other account, adding a item to the cart. These all things comes under task. To do that, we have to provide some set of instructions. The next definition is software. The meaning of software is like it's a collection of related programs. What makes a software? It's a collection of related programs. Then we are having the types of software like system software and application software. System software and application software. The meaning of system software is like making your hardware work. Like the examples of system software are like making your system work, like operating systems. Operating systems comes under system software. So what are the examples of operating system? Like Windows, Mac, OS, Linux. These are the examples of operating systems. Then drivers. Drivers. The meaning of drivers are like making a hardware device work. Let us suppose we are connecting to a printer. So in order to make that printer work, we need to install some softwares which makes that printer work. That we call it as drivers. Then we are having compilers and interpreters. So these compilers and interpreters are also comes under system software. I'll elaborate on this. What is the meaning of compilers and interpreters? Coming to this application software, this application software even we call it as general purpose software. General purpose software. Like examples like MS Office. MS Office comes under application software. Calculator, Paint. You can even say like e-commerce applications. Then banking management, banking sectors, student management system. Like this. These are all examples of application softwares. So what are the softwares we are using now? They all comes under application software. Mailing applications, ATM, all this comes under application softwares. Then the next definition we are having is language. The meaning of language is like media for communication. What is this language? Media for communication. So whenever you want to communicate, we use a language, right? Like English or Telugu or Hindi, like that. We use the language. So similar way, if I want to communicate with the softwares, or if I want to communicate with the computer, we require a language. So this language is media for communication. Related to software, we are having two types of languages. Types of languages. They are low-level languages and high-level languages. Languages are of two types, low-level and high-level. These low-level languages are mainly used to communicate with the computer. It's having two types like machine language and assembly language. So these low-level languages mainly interacts with the hardware device of your system. So it's of two types, machine language and assembly language. When you go with machine language, it uses only two symbols. They are 0 and 1. It uses only two symbols, 0 and 1, binary format. So the complete code we should write only by using 0 and 1. So writing the code only with 0 and 1, it's very difficult part to us. So writing the code, understanding the code is very difficult using this machine language. So that's the reason they have created one more language called as assembly language, which uses some words like mnemonics. Like add, sub, mul, like this. Now, so using these mnemonics, something better way to understand. But the problem with assembly language is like, whatever the instruction we are typing, we should remember the address of that instruction. So remembering the address of instruction is very difficult part to the programmers. That is a place where they have created these high-level languages. So high-level languages are English type language, very easy to understand, very easy to write. The examples like B.Sc, COBOL, Fortran. Fortran means formula translation. COBOL is mainly for business applications. Then we are having Pascal, C, C++, Java, Python. So nowadays, what are the programming languages we see? They are all high-level languages. Now, the next important point over here is low-level languages. Low-level languages are used to develop system softwares. Low-level languages are mainly for what purpose? To develop system softwares, whereas high-level languages are used to develop application softwares. Since low-level language can communicate with the hardware of your computer, that is the reason they are used to develop system softwares. High-level languages are used to develop what type of softwares? Application softwares. Now understand carefully. Here I am drawing a diagram. Here we are having softwares. Softwares are of two types. They are what? System software and application software. We are having two types of softwares. System softwares. What are the examples of system softwares? Operating systems, drivers, compilers, interpreters comes under system softwares. Then we are having application softwares. Application softwares. So examples are like general purpose softwares like ATM machine, banking, insurance, library management, student management, employee management, MS Office, like Word, Excel, calculator, paint, all this comes under application softwares. Then we are having languages. Languages are also two types. What they are? Low level languages and high level languages. We are having low level languages like machine language and assembly language, and high level languages like C, C++, Java, Python. All these comes under high level languages. Now, and what is the point we discussed? Low level languages are used to develop system softwares. High level languages are used to develop application softwares. So low level languages are used to develop system softwares, whereas high level languages are used to develop application softwares. This is the place where C will come into picture. This is the place where C will come into picture. Right? Now, C is a programming language. C is a programming language which is used to develop system softwares as well as application softwares. C is what? It is used for what purpose? To develop system softwares as well as application softwares. Now understand here. Low level is for system software, high level is for application software, but whereas C, it is used to develop system software as well as application software. That's the reason for C language they have given a special name. What is that? Middle level language. Middle level language. Right? So as a beginner, just if you have completed your engineering and if someone asks you the interview, like some of the basic questions they'll take from C language during placements, and the question is why C is called as middle level language. So what is the reason? C is also known as middle level language as it is used to develop system softwares as well as application softwares. C is also known as what? Middle level language. Why? What is the reason? Since it is used to develop system softwares as well as application softwares. Right? So anyone having any questions up to here? You can send the message. Right. Now, coming to the next one, we should have idea on two more terms before we start with C, that is compiler versus interpreter. Compiler versus interpreter. Now, whatever the programs we are going to write, that programs we call it as source codes. Here, let me take. So we are trying to understand about the difference between compiler and interpreter. Let me draw like a table to show the difference between compiler and interpreter. So let me consider this side is compiler and this side is interpreter. Whatever the programs we are going to write, that programs we call it as source code. Now we should convert that source code into machine understandable format, that we call it as object code. See, let us consider we are writing a source code file here. We are going with what? A source code. So let me take the name like hello.c. The extension what we give for C language program is .c. What is the meaning of extension? By seeing extension, we can know what type of file it is. Like for movies, you can see MP4. You can see .xls for Excel files, .docx for Word document, ppt. By seeing the extension, we can know what type of file it is. So the extension what we give for C language program is .c. So the programs whatever we write, we call it as source code. The programs whatever we are going to write, we call it as what? Source code. Let us suppose we are writing some set of statements here. We are writing some set of statements in this source code. Now, the source code whatever we write, this source code is not understood by your computer directly. What is the step we need to do? We need to translate into machine understandable format. That machine understandable format, we call it as object code. That machine understandable format, we call it as what? Object code. Then the role of compiler is it is used to convert source code into object code. So how it is going to convert here is, first it is going to check, what it's going to do is it's going to check the complete source code. Whatever the program we are writing, it's going to check the complete source code for errors. The meaning of errors are like, if you do some mistake in your program, if you are not following the rules of language, that we call it as errors. Even we call them as syntax errors. So if you are violating the rules of language, we get errors. If there are errors in your source code, then it won't convert into object code. If there are no errors in your source code, then only at a time it's going to convert into object code. At a time, that complete source code will get converted into what? Object code. So at a time, it's going to convert here. So this meaning is at a time. It's going to convert what? At a time. So what is the role of compiler? It converts source code into object code at a time. It's going to convert source code into object code at a time. Means if there are errors in your source code, then the object code will not get generated. If no errors, then only it's going to generate into object code. And which programming languages are compiler based is, the example programming languages are, examples are like Pascal, C, C++, Java. All these are examples of compiler based languages. Then coming to interpreter. In the case of interpreter, we write our source code and we want to convert into object code. So here we go with the source code with some statements. We write some set of statements in our source code. Then what interpreter is going to do is it should convert into object code. How it is going to convert here is, it goes to first statement. If in first statement there are no errors, it's correct only. There are no errors in first statement, then first statement will get converted into object code. Then comes to second statement. Second statement is also valid, no errors, then second statement will also get converted into object code. Third statement is having error, then it stops. It won't continue with the remaining part of code. So when you find error, then it terminates there only. So means what interpreter is going to do? It's going to convert our source code into object code line by line. It is line by line. So this is very, very important question. What is the difference between compiler and interpreter? Interpreter converts source code into object code line by line. It is line by line. very important question. The difference between compiler and interpreter. Compiler converts source code into object code at a time, whereas interpreter converts source code into object code line by line. So what are the examples of interpreter? B.Sc, the older language B.Sc. Then we are having this Python. Python also comes under interpreter, and even Java. Java is both compiler based and interpreter based. Right? So anyone having any questions up to here? Right. So what is this? You can understand using a diagram. I'll share the diagram also. Compiler versus interpreter. So what we discussed, simple introduction part today. So these course totally goes for 15 days, total 3 weeks. The classes will be Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. to 4:45 p.m. maximum, and the class will go for maximum 45 minutes. And here we started with the definition, simple terminology before we start with the programming, like the meaning of computer, the meaning of program, the meaning of software, the different types of softwares like system software and application software. Like system software are examples like operating systems, drivers, compilers and interpreters. We discussed this part also. Then application softwares are general purpose softwares. Then we discussed about language. Language is what? It's a media for communication. Related to software, we are in two types of languages, low-level languages and high-level languages. In low-level language, it goes with machine language and assembly language. In machine language, we go with only two symbols, 0 and 1. In assembly language, we make use of mnemonics like add, sub, mul, like that. Then high-level languages are simple English type of language, like examples C, C++, Java, Python, and even older languages like BASIC, COBOL, Fortran, Pascal comes under high-level languages. They are very easy to understand and very easy to write compared with low-level languages. And we are having very important point. What is that? Low-level languages are used to develop system softwares. High-level languages are used to develop application softwares. That is the place where C has come into picture. So C is a programming language which is used to develop system softwares as well as application softwares. That's the reason C language is called as middle level language. So why C is called as middle level language? Very important point. C is called as middle level language as it is used to develop system softwares as well as application softwares. And finally, we have discussed about compiler and interpreter. Right? Now, so in order to get the recording of this course, I'll be sharing the playlist with you. So YouTube playlist, you can watch all our videos in our YouTube. So I'll be sharing this playlist, YouTube playlist, to watch the complete course recordings. I'm sharing that link with you. You can copy from there, or you can just open our YouTube channel, Raj Technologies. So we are having YouTube channel, Raj Technologies. So once we open this channel, you can find our codes in the playlist. Okay, C language codes you can find over there. And complete details about this channel details, everything I'll be sharing in the WhatsApp channel also. So even I'm sharing this WhatsApp channel link in the chat message. Please join our WhatsApp channel in order to get more details about our codes, like the link details, the joining links, and even I'll be providing the drive link. Even I'll be providing the drive link for this notes, source codes, diagrams. So that drive link I'll be sharing in our WhatsApp channel. So please join this channel to get more details about this course. Right? So anyone having any questions?